the national championship.
The Florida Gators have won the Southeastern Conference Championship. GatorZone is brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank of the Florida Gators.
Hey Gator Nation, welcome back to another year of GatorZone 2021. 2022 has officially started. We've already had some sports going on, volleyball, soccer, football game has already happened in the swamp, and we're certainly excited to be back just like you are. That's Megan Parler. I am Jeff Cardozo. We'll be here throughout the entire year, having some fun, giving you all the great stories that are happening here at the University of Florida. And one great story that has already happened was where she was. Out in California, Mary Wise got a pretty big accolade.
Yeah, Jeff, win number 900 at the University of Florida, which is just crazy to think about. And you and I know Mary pretty well. She doesn't really like the spotlight and attention, so she kind of deferred all that to former athletes and all the players she's had the opportunity to coach, the coaches she's coached with. So win number 900 at Florida out at Sacramento State against UC Davis. Let's take a look back.
Since arriving to Gainesville on March 25, 1991, Mary Wise has made quite an impact on the volleyball community, Gator Nation, and those athletes she's coached while inspiring each day. For 31 seasons, she has been at the helm while gathering 24 SEC titles. Coached numerous athletes, 46 of whom have achieved 127 All-American honors. She has reached 8 Final Fours and coached in 2 national championship matches, still the only female coach to do that. But this year, she added yet another accomplishment, 900 wins at the University of Florida. And while setting records, she also does it the fastest. Wise was the first female coach to 500 career wins, then 800 career wins, and now the first overall since 1991 to get to 900. When the 2021 squad started their pre-conference matches, Mary Wise needed just 2 wins to get to that 900 mark at Florida, and after wins over the University of San Francisco and UC Davis, she hit that mark. As the public address announcer read off her accomplishments at Sacramento State, Wise was gracious and then went right back to coaching. The coaching staff wanted to make sure the team gave her a little extra celebration.
Hold up, Gators. I know you guys heard, but Mary wants to do her 900 win.
It's easy to see why Coach Mary Wise is admired by so many after the legacy she continues to build here at Florida, one that is not done, with more accolades and more memories still on the horizon.
So congrats again to Mary Wise, 900 here at Florida. It's pretty special. And you think about this, she got here in 1991 and she has more wins in the country than any other coach. It's been pretty special watching her here, and pretty special when she was out in California. Didn't you do that Alcatraz swim? You swam all the way out there and back?
I definitely did not. I wouldn't have made it, Jeff.
You would have. I bet you would have. You would have made it. When I was in school 20 years ago, she was doing some great things administrator-wise and just one of the most awesome people to be around. And thankfully, the University of Florida has now honored her.
Yeah, now the pool is dedicated for Anne-Marie Rodgers. Everything she did here, she was such an advocate for women's sports, and so many males and females came out to celebrate her, her legacy, and everything she's done for the University of Florida.
Anne-Marie had an incredible impact on Gator athletics, period. And obviously a lot of that focus was on women's athletics, but she was such an important part of the UAA.
Anne-Marie is someone who blazed those trails for us generously, wisely, in a very passionate way.
See her name up there for the first time, just huge smile and sense of pride.
It certainly is overwhelming. I just am so pleased. I never expected anything like this.
And you could just tell by the applause and the things that people said about her. She was well deserved.
It's remarkable. I mean, I think between Anne-Marie and Jeremy that they pretty much set the standard for how universities should recognize women's sports.
Be able to come here and celebrate what she has done, pretty special.
The opportunities that I had, as a swimmer, as a woman in the sports industry, somebody had to break those barriers, and she did. She made it easy for all of us.
For a former athlete to come back like Veronica and make this kind of gift tells you a lot about why Anne-Marie is so special.
There's probably no woman at the University of Florida that has meant more to women's athletics.
To do this for me and women's sports is very special.
Well, anytime you get a bunch of Gators together to celebrate a really special Gator, it's an important time.
Florida's a special place, and what makes it a special place are the people like Anne-Marie who guided us, who mentored us, who helped us become the women and the people that we are. So it feels great to be back here.
Her influence on both the programs, even after we split it, was pretty instrumental in all the success we had.
To celebrate somebody so iconic is a gift in and of itself.
I just can't say enough about not only her leadership, but also just the person that she is. And I think that's why we've all gathered here today to celebrate her. She has meant just so much to so many.
Well, thank you so much, Riley, for putting that feature together, and Anne-Marie Rodgers did so much during her time here, so it's great that she will always be remembered for everything she's done. We got to get to our first break here on GatorZone, but Jeff, I'm sure we'll get into something, right?
We'll figure something out, but yeah, Anne-Marie was awesome, and our next story was awesome over this past summer. Make sure you stay tuned.
GatorZone is brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank of the Florida Gators, and by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the proven sports fuel.
Hey everyone, and welcome back into GatorZone. Jeff and I still hanging out at Exact Tech Arena in the Center Court Club, and I know this summer we were all kind of locked into Tokyo, the Olympics. So the Gators won 17 medals. So if they were a country, they would have beaten some others. Bobby Finke took 2 of those home, both gold in the 800 and the 1500 free American record and a personal record. So he's doing big things, and he's not even done as a Gator yet.
Yeah, he's already won 2 national championships here, so we knew how great he was, but it was really cool to see the world know what he can do, because it's almost like Rowdy Gaines was like, who is this guy? Where's he coming from? All out of nowhere, and of course that was the compelling story. Came back and won both of those races, and he's as sweet as gold.
Tell me about what it was like to travel to Tokyo to represent the United States at the Olympics.
It was amazing, to be there. Not even just with myself, to be with teammates here, my coach. It honestly just meant the world. And then, the place was really beautiful. It wasn't raining or anything like that back in 2018 for Pan Pacs. So it was really nice to see just some ray of sunshine. And then even the training trip in Hawaii was a blast of fun. So it was an honor to be there.
So what was it like the moments before you dove into the pool for the first time at the Olympics? Tell me what was going through your mind. Were you worried, nervous, excited? Tell me all about it.
I was definitely nervous, but I was also pretty calm about the whole thing. Just experience with trials and everything, and the pressure packing meet that kind of was. I think that helped me a lot with just being able to calm down and just be by myself behind the blocks, because the only person you can talk to is yourself in the water. And yeah, I think trials helped a lot, and just try to stay calm.
All right, and now tell me about the moments when you realized that you had secured the gold medal in the 800 freestyle.
Can't say what I was thinking, but I was not coming into this meet at all to expect to medal. My whole goal coming into it was to make the finals, and after I did that in the prelims, I think I was 3rd going in. That's when I realized I had a chance to medal, but before the last 50, I didn't even think I was gonna medal because I was in like 5th or something. I was so far behind. When I touched the wall, it was just, I was in complete shock. I didn't know what to do or what to think. I was just sitting there, I don't know.
So did this gold in the 800 freestyle change your perspective at all heading into 1500?
It definitely changed my race plan going into the 1500. After the 800, I kind of realized the Olympics, it doesn't really matter too much about the time, it just matters about the place. So for the mile, I wanted to stay with the guys, and then I had the confidence from the ending of the 800 to be able to try and pass them or kick ahead of them on a mile.
And heading into your senior year here at UF, what are your thoughts going into the season and what goals do you have?
We got a pretty good team. I'm not gonna lie. One of our goals this year is to finally win NCs after 30-some, I don't know, something like that years. So I think it'd be pretty cool to come away with a win with the team, just to be able to stand up there on the podium with all the guys. I think it'd mean a lot.
Thank you so much, Bobby, for your time. For GatorZone, I'm Josie Clancy.
Well, thank you to Josie for taking her time, and Bobby as well for catching up with us and letting us know how amazing it was out in the Tokyo Olympics. We got to get to our second break here on GatorZone, though.
Well, when we get back, we're going to look back on something we didn't finish up from last year. Another national champion, ho-hum, here in Florida.
GatorZone is brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank of the Florida Gators, and by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the proven sports fuel.
We welcome you back to GatorZone. Megan Parler, Jeff Cardozo here with you, still hanging out at the bar because it's a really cool place to be. And when this place is packed for a basketball game, it is awesome. And what was awesome was the end of last year. We didn't get to it here on GatorZone because obviously the summer hit and things were happening. But our next student athlete does the hammer. But I think of the hammer and that's like a curveball. And that's why they called it that, because you're gripping it like a hammer. But obviously that's not the case. And this dude's really, really good.
Yeah, Thomas Mardall, all the way from Norway, was the hammer and weight thrower, and he won 2 national championships, 4 SEC championships over his career, so big time. He kind of ended his career the same time Coach Lemke was retiring, so here's a look back at how he ended 2021.
So this was a season that it was hard to know what to expect because we didn't have a full season last year. But I knew that this was my last season, so I kind of wanted to go out on a high.
This is Thomas Mardall, the senior from Florida, out of Norway. He won the SEC title. He won the NCAA indoor weight throw. And here he blasts a 251-foot, 9-inch throw on his second attempt in this new Lance deal.
I don't like to boast too much about my accomplishments. I'm very good at kind of shifting my mind to the next thing that's up. So
he leads by example. I think people see him doing the right thing all the time, and that's maybe the best kind of leadership you can have for a lot of people, is that he's a great example. He never has an off day, and even if he's not feeling the best and his practice isn't that good, he's giving 100% for that day.
Something that you don't see a lot nowadays, and I appreciate, because a lot of times when you see someone do something really impressive, they're telling everybody, and that's just not who he is. And for someone to be so good at their event and really kind of making history as far as the school and the conference goes, it's just really impressive to see that, and then see that he's still so humble about it, and he's always trying to improve, he's always trying to get better.
When I was being recruited was around the time when Florida was starting to pick up national championships again, and I saw the quality of the team, and obviously that resembles the quality of the coaches. So I saw that this is a powerhouse here in the US when it comes to track and field. So I knew that if I came over here, I'd be a part of a very professional team, and I would have throwers around me that would push me every day in practice.
Thomas has always been great to coach because he's one of those guys. He's a person you don't normally get. You get once every once in a while that he's extremely talented and he's extremely hardworking. Some people have one but not the other, but he just grinds every day at a very high level.
To me, Thomas is the best teammate. He's someone that he'll do anything that you need him to do. If you need a teammate that really needs to pump you up, he'll do that. If you need a teammate that is more relaxed and just gives you a little bit of support, he can do that for you too. And he just always seems to be there. That's what I like so much about a teammate. I think we need more people like him.
You know, I've got a lot of memories here at Florida, but you know, obviously your last group is the one you're going to remember the most because you've been with them most recent. So, and he's led the way with that, and you know, the whole group has followed along, and yeah, I don't think I could have wished for a better last year with this group of throwers, led by Thomas's results.
I've met a lot of friends and very close friends here, and I've developed friendship with athletes and coaches over the last 4 years, and feels like a family. Normally when you do track, it's sort of like an individual thing, but here you get that whole like group experience, team experience, like everyone pushing each other and supporting each other.
Well, a big congrats again to Thomas Mardall and all he did in his Gator career. Great job as always. And we got to get to our last break here on GatorZone, though.
Yep, we're going to ski-daddle on out of here, walk across the street. There's some really cool statues over there for a really cool story. Stay tuned. So we've made our way across the street. Everybody knows these three guys here in University of Florida football history. The one in the middle there, 1966, a Heisman Trophy winner, of course, Steve Spurrier. Well, 2 years later, two guys came along, became the first two African Americans to get football scholarships here at the University of Florida, Leonard George and Willie Jackson Sr. And speaking of scholarships, now 50 years later, there is a scholarship named after them, an endowment.
Both of those guys were here the first football weekend, the season opener against FAU. They were the honorary captains. Lots of celebrations took place, and yes, now that awesome scholarship. So here's a look back at that amazing weekend.
Two buddies of yours, Lee, that former Gators that you were with during your playing days. Very special time right now for these two guys.
It is. Leonard George, Willie Jackson, the first two African-American scholarship football players, signed in 1969, and they changed the University of Florida for the good. Two great guys. They both were outstanding players. They both graduated together, and finally they're being honored. There's a fantastic mural that the athletic department did. Well deserved. They were great leaders.
I want to say thanks to Leonard George and Willie Jackson for everything they did for our school. They are the barrier breakers. They'll have a spot in our history books forever.
I tell you, it's got to be one of the best things that we can imagine. And you wouldn't have, when we came in 51 years ago, that this would be something that could be possible, and be possible while we were still alive.
So I knew Willie and Leonard before they even got here. Back in 1968, I was the first black athlete, first black scholarship athlete at the University of Florida, and I needed some company. We knew that the university was interested in Leonard and interested in Willie, and we not only condoned it, endorsed it, and helped to recruit the both of them. And it was a pleasure. It was really a pleasure when they stepped on campus.
There was a lot of criticism about why would you want to go over there? Maybe you ought to go to Florida A&M, going somewhere else, because at that time, you know, it wasn't, you didn't have many black players, period.
And when we got here, Maxine, he was the captain of the football team at that time. So he had a meeting, you know, he told them, say, hey, they're here and we got to deal with it. We getting out here anyway, so let's go ahead and make the most of it. And I appreciate him for that, because like I said, he got them to make sure that we wasn't harassed or we didn't have no animosity towards each other.
It's not that we didn't have any problems. You know, we didn't have that many black students too. And so there was a talk about walking out on the university. We had to deal with the fact that, you know, a lot of the black students wanted us, of course, to walk out too.
I remember the team meeting that we had, the whole team with Leonard and Willie, for them to tell us what they were going to do. But I remember the team meeting because I could see the pain in the faces of Willie and Leonard. How painful it was for them, because any decision that they made was going to be criticized. They chose, I believe, the harder road, which was to stay here, discuss the problem, but to stay with their teammates and continue their opening of the gates to let African Americans play football at University of Florida.
We never have any problems with our team itself. We had to go to Alabama and Mississippi and all the Confederate flags and all the hate. But I'm saying that I'm glad that we made it.
Really what they taught me is perseverance and what you can, the impact that you can have on the life of others by the example that you set.
Over all these years, a lot of these people, our people that was with us today, remain friends. That's the most important thing. Me and Willie, we're still friends after all these years. And so, you know, sometimes he's difficult to deal with, but no, I'm just kidding. We see so many people that supports us and people that have remained our friends for all these years is very special. Because a lot of things, it's not about the event, it's about the friend, the people that's involved. To see them come out and support us, even at this time, is amazing. Look at the teams now and where they were at that time. I tell you, this is such an honor, and it's one that we never forget.
We've come a long ways from that time, but we have a long ways to go. And that's why the tribute to them is such a wonderful thing to do, not only for them, but for all of us. To know that, okay, we've come this far. There's still a mountain to climb here, and we can do it.
Well, two great individuals right there, really setting the stage for so many others to come here and play football. And of course, look at Willie Jackson Sr. You had junior play, and then you've got another one on the team now. So 3 generations of Jacksons getting after it. Well, we got after it for the first time here on GatorZone, but remember, we're gonna do it throughout the entire year. We're gonna do 1 show a month, so we'll break it up, we'll have some fun, and certainly feature the best student athletes in the entire world.
Yep, and you can always follow us on all the social media accounts all season long: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. And Willie Jackson Jr., great. I remember him playing. I don't remember Senior playing, but I remember him.
National champ.
Yep.
He was very good. Good old number 22, just like Emmett was. Yep. So that is a good number and a good time that we had. Appreciate Alex and all his mighty fine photography from a partner,
Megan Parler.
I'm Jeff Cardozo. We'll see you next time.